God says, if I've done all these wonderful things to you, how is it that you could treat me like you treat me sometimes? God says, yeah, haven't I destroyed your enemies? Oh, yeah, you know it's people that was plotting and planning against you, but I took care of them because of who you are and who you belong to. And yet now, you don't worship me like you used to worship me. Yet now, you don't praise me like you used to praise me. He says, didn't I deliver you from your Egypt? Oh, don't fool yourself this morning. It's just family up in here. All of us have been in some sort of Egypt in our life. Oh, come on, let's be real this morning. You ain't been saved all your life. You may have your neighbor fooled, but God says, come on, I know you. I made you. I've been watching everything you've been doing since the time you were created and stepped foot on this earth. I know you, and I've delivered you from some stuff. Come on, let's be real this morning. Somebody here this morning, God has delivered you from a drinking habit, but you don't give him the praise like you should. Come on, it's just family. Somebody, come on, your testimony is that you used to smoke a little weed, but God delivered the taste out of your mouth. Come on, somebody. You used to sleep with any and everybody, but God delivered you, and he says, now you can't praise me, now you can't worship me, you should be dead. You should have an STD. You did have an STD, but I delivered you from that. And now you can't worship me. Now you're too good to praise me. Now you don't want nobody to see your hair getting messed up. Now you're afraid to let your makeup run. Now you're afraid to dance and jump up and down. And so God says, if you are ashamed to own me before other people, then I'll just step back and let all kind of craziness and madness and mayhem and foolishness and a heartache and backaches and toothaches and all kinds of thoughts just take over your body, because how is it that I can be so good to you, but now you're being so bad to me, and whoa, the punishment is coming down. Look at somebody and say, don't you forget God. Look at somebody and say, don't you forget how good God's been to you. Yeah, I know you smell like Chanel number 5, but come on. Don't you forget how good God has been to you. I know you smell like Splash or Brute 33, but don't forget how good God has been to you. Is there anybody here this morning say, God's been good to me? So every now and then, I ought to just pause and say thank you. Can we just pause and say thank you? I wish you would just pause and say thank you like you really meant it. Not because I'm asking you to, but just pause and say, I just had a flashback of what should have happened to me. I just had a flashback about what could have took me out of here. I just had a flashback about all the things that should have tripped me up. I just had a flashback about all the things that God has allowed me to have, even though I don't deserve them. And so I've got to just pause and say, Lord, forgive me. And he says, Israel, you forgot me. And so punishment is coming upon you. Because Israel, you have to understand you reap what you sow. So in Amos chapter 3, verse 6, it declares that disaster will come. Disaster will come up against the household of Israel. And God says, I want you to understand, I'm allow it. Yeah, it's going to be a rocky flight, but we're going to get to our destination. We got to go through a little turbulence this morning, but we're going to be all right. God says, trouble is getting ready to break out all around you, but I'm allowing it. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. One more time. He says, storms getting ready to break out all around you, but I'm allowing it. God. How can God allow his children to go through something? And there's 3 reasons why God allows you to go through something. Sometimes God allows you to go through something because it's a form of punishment. You did wrong. You did the crime. And so God says, now you got to pay the time. And so you're going through what you're going through because it is a form of punishment. Yeah, I've got to let you suffer a little while in order to get you back to where you need to be. But then sometimes God says, I allow you to go through something not because of punishment, but because I'm trying to build up your endurance. God. Yeah. Come here, Paul. Paul said, I had a thorn in my flesh, and I cried out to God. God, remove this pain, remove this thorn that's in my flesh. And Paul said, I cried out not one time, not two times, but I cried out 3 times. And then God eventually said, chill. I'm letting you go through what you're going through because my grace is sufficient. I see something on the inside of you that the only way it's going to come out of you is if you go through something. And somebody, you just got to shout in your spirit because now you understand why you're going through what you're going through on your job. God's trying to build up your endurance. God is taking you through what you're going through because he says, I'm preparing you for something else. And that's the last reason why God sometimes allow you to go through pain and problems. He says it's a form of punishment. I'm trying to build your endurance, or sometimes I let you go through something because I'm getting ready to elevate you. God. He says it's like a final exam. You're getting ready to go to the next level, but you got to take this final exam first. But after you come through the test, after you suffered for a little while, then he says, I'm going to promote you. I'm going to elevate you. I'm getting ready to upgrade you. Is there anybody here this morning that says, I'm next in line for an upgrade? Look at your neighbor and say, I'm next in line for an upgrade. I wish I had somebody here this morning that was going through something. See, everybody here this morning ain't going through something. I'm just talking about some people that's going through something this morning that says, I just got it. Now I understand why I'm going through all sort of hell in my life because God's getting ready to upgrade me. Now I understand why my phone don't ring that much. God's getting ready to upgrade me. Now I understand why all sorts of things that could go wrong are going wrong. It's not that God is punishing me. It's not that he's trying to build my endurance, but he's getting me ready for an elevation. He's getting me ready for a promotion. He's getting ready to take me somewhere. He's getting ready to do something. And so I got to go through this so I'll be ready when I get there. Is there anybody here this morning that says, God is working on me? So in chapter 4, God via Amos details a litany of warnings provided Israel in hope that they would turn their act around. And God says, I sent the famine to you, but you didn't turn around. I sent the drought your way, but you didn't turn around. I sent disease and pestilence upon the land, and you still did not turn around. It's a reminder that every now and then God in his love will use pain if necessary to get your attention. Oh, God, I better say that again. Every now and then God will use pain if necessary to get your attention. And so the question we must ask ourselves this morning is, what is God in his love for us allowing us to go through so he can get our attention? Maybe need to personalize it. What is God in his love for you using to get to you? What is God allowing you to go through so he can get your attention, so he can wake you up, so he can shake you up and get you back to where you rightfully belong? And so Amos chapter 5 details the plea from Amos on behalf of God to his people to seek God's face and live. Amos says, turn from your wicked ways and just maybe God will be gracious. I like that word gracious because it reminds me that justice is when I get what I deserve. Mercy is when God gives me what I do not deserve. But grace is when God does not give me what I deserve. I deserve punishment, but God says I'm not going to give it to you. I deserve a setback, but God says I'm still going to hold you up. I deserve a letdown, but God says I'm still going to keep my arms around you. I deserve punishment, but God says I'm still going to keep on being good to you. Is there anybody here this morning that says, thanks be to God that we have a gracious God, that we have a loving God, that everything I deserve, he don't give it to me. The punishment I deserve with my name on it, he says I'm going to hold it off in hopes that you would just turn around. But God, aware that Israel's heart had waxed cold and that they had become a self-indulgent society, continued to announce their forthcoming judgment in chapter 6. And so in chapter 6, it's the power